My name's Kevin PHELEY. This is Brain Dump. You submit your questions and I give you my best answers. Let's go. So the first question is from Sean, and Sean says, what is your opinion on manifestation? So I assume that you're talking about law of attraction and things like this. I think it is very real. I think that we don't completely understand the science behind it, but I do believe that quantum physics will have a really good explanation for it. So a lot of people see this as woo-woo and like this magic, but I don't think it is. I think there's science behind it. I think we just haven't really figured it out. But I do believe that what you train your subconscious to believe, you will have. So if you're constantly thinking that you're only worth so much money, that you only have the capability to do X, Y, and Z, maybe your salary cap is $60,000 a year, and that's just what you tell your brain. If you don't tell your brain that you can make $200,000 a year, then you're never going to get it, because it's kind of like, if I don't think that it's possible for me to go out and drive a car, I'm not going to get in the car, right? So a lot of people didn't think it was possible to run a 4-minute mile before. I think it was Roger Bannister that did it. A lot of people didn't think that they could fly until the Wright brothers flew, right? And then after this, a whole lot of people went and did it because now they knew that it was possible. So I think manifesting and law of attraction and the whole subconscious mind thing is really just letting your brain know that this is possible, and now you're trying to find what's in between you and that thing. Where before, that thing wasn't even an option, just like flying, just like the 4-minute mile, just like a lot of things were. So I think manifesting is very real, but if you're gonna do anything like make $1 billion, you're gonna have to work. So if you're trying to manifest something, but you're not trying to work, I think you're wasting your time, unless you're trying to manifest being broke. So the second question is from Caesar. He says, do you think it's important to have hobbies outside of what you do for work? So yeah, obviously, but I think it's really important to also love what you do. So if you're gonna spend a majority of your life either sleeping, traveling to work, or working, you're gonna need to love what you do. Now, I don't mean that you can't have a shitty job or a job that you don't exactly like to get you to that next level, but I do think that if you're going to be doing something, you need to really like it. And they say that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I think that that is totally true. If you really genuinely love what you do and you can find a way to make money with it, you really never will feel like you're working, but you will put in a lot of work. It's kind of like when a little kid plays video games all the time but doesn't want to do their homework, and their parents are like, well, if you tried your homework as well as you tried your video games, you would just be such a good student. But the kid doesn't give a shit. He cares about video games, which is why his motivation is to play them. So I hope this helps, Caesar. I do think that if you're looking long-term at a career, you need to love what you're doing. So the third question is from Carlos, and he asked, do you think it's worth sacrificing your happiness if you make more money long-term? Now, first off, I never think that long-term sacrificing happiness for money is worth it. But when you're broke and you have no money and no options, you're not happy anyways. So I think that sacrificing happiness in terms of you don't want to go to a job so that you can make money to get you to that next point. I think that sacrificing happiness to get what you want long term is not sacrificing. I think it's investing, right? So you're giving up a little bit of time to have a lot of time. So I think that if you're sacrificing your happiness for money long term, I would say no. You'd rather be broke or almost broke and happy than rich and miserable, right? Because what's the point at that point? But if you're doing something short term, like a job that's going to help you step up to that next level in your life, then fuck yes. No pain, no gain. I really believe that. So I hope that helped. So Tabitha says, who is your dream podcast guest? I didn't even have to think about this. It is for sure Gary Vaynerchuk. He is somebody that I look up to a lot in terms of not just being a good person, but the type of entrepreneur he is, the type of heart that guy has, and the content that he puts out. Gary V really helped change my life, and I think that his content is absolutely pure. The intentions are really, really good. There's no ill intent in his content. He's not trying to sell you some course. He's not trying to do shit like that, which it's okay if somebody's selling a course, but I just think that Gary is extremely authentic, and I would love to have Gary V on the podcast. So if you have a connection to Gary V, please tell them I want them on my podcast. So Sabrina asked a really, really good question. And if you're looking to eventually start your own business, or if it's even in your mind, you need to listen to this. This is my favorite question I've had on Brain Dump so far. She says, what are some of the traps that people fall into when starting their own business? Now, Sabrina, this is a great question because people start their own business usually to make money, to have freedom, things like that. But the biggest thing that people skip before going in is having sales experience. If you're going to start a business and you don't have sales and influence as a main core feature as a person, you're going to do less and you're going to be at a disadvantage compared to somebody with a sales ability. So if you have the best product in the world, but you can't market or sell that product, you're going to do less than somebody with a mediocre product. So I think that the number one thing that helped me build my business was my sales background. I knew how to go out and find people, and I knew how to sell them something, because then the only variable is the product. If you know how to sell and you know how to market, you can do almost anything, which really is good when a recession hits, when a business fails, things like that, because it allows you to pivot and always be able to sell something. So I think that the biggest trap that people fall into when starting a business is not having a strong sales background before going in. Hope this helps. This has been Brain Dump. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to be featured on the next one, go ahead and submit your questions on Instagram. Go ahead and message me. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.